Tell me, are you feeling lucky?
Let's go over here. All right. So if the sun is in the sky over here, see it? These people see it in their sky. But really, the sun is over here. It needs to be because it needs to be above Australia.
Needs to be? Says who?
So what Flat Earth does is they take the sun, they leave it there because it needs to be there. Then they say, oh, there's an apparent sun that appears way over here, and we predicted it. Guess where this spot is? This spot is the identical spot that the sphere Earth model says it will be, and the same spot that reality says it will be. So Flat Earth just says, okay, well, if that's where it's supposed to be, then we'll just steal it, put it in the sky for these people, call it a day. What the are you talking about? How can you do that? If Flat Earth predictions were accurate, then the second sun wouldn't need to be added manually. Do you understand that? Again, let me say it again. If the Flat Earth predictions were accurate, we would not need to have a second sun. Did you know that the globe doesn't need a second sun? The globe doesn't use a second sun.
Really? What's this, Jeran? Here are the words of your new master, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He is the one who chose to call the setting sun that we see every day an illusion.
Light through the vacuum of space moves at the speed of light. When it goes through Earth's atmosphere, it is no longer moving at the speed of light.
It slows down?
It slows down.
Okay.
Okay. Anytime light slows down, coming at an angle into a medium, the path of light bends. The physics term for that is refracts. It refracts, much like a straw. If you put a straw in a half-filled cup of water, tilted, you'll see the straw bends. The light bent on its way out of the liquid into the air of the straw. So that bending is no different physically from going from vacuum to air. Two different media of different densities. Okay, I say all of this because as the sun approaches the horizon to set, it's actually moving faster than you see it to be.
Oh.
So refraction is taking the sun lower than the actual position on the sky you think the sun is.
So what does that mean, Jeran? It means that you're seeing an apparent sun in the sky on the globe model.
Oh, that's man,
No,
I
it's
love
crazy.
that.
So watch.
That's great.
Wait, so watch.
Yeah.
So when the glowing sun is on the horizon,
Right.
the sun has already set.
Yes, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. So the atmosphere is actually taking the light and bending it in such a way that you are seeing a sunset that has really already happened.
Or it happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You missed it.
That's that's
Okay?
Oh, that's really cool.
So what it means is if you had some super missile, okay, and you aimed it at the setting sun, and it could get there instantly, it would just miss it. It would just fly off into space, because that's not where the sun is. That's the image of the sun bent into a direct line for your line of sight.
Oh, that's
Okay,
pretty,
all right, so now watch.
that's great. That's really great.
But wait, there's more. Okay, that's sunset. Okay, how about sunrise? Well, the same thing is happening, is playing out on the other side of the sky. When you see the sun rise, the sun is still below the horizon and has not yet risen.
Wow.
Okay.
That it's doing the same thing in reverse. So it's
In
taking
reverse.
the light, it's bending it, and you're seeing light bent
Over the
over
horizon.
the horizon, and now you're seeing that light before the sun is actually there.
Correct.
So how many apparent suns is that? There's one at sunrise and one at sunset. That's 2 apparent suns on the globe model.
That's so cool.
Apparent makes no sense. Is there a real sun in the world or not? The one that brings light and heat to the world. It's the only reason that we're all here. Without the sun, nothing exists. There's no energy for you to eat. There's no plants. There's no animals. There's no anything. The entire world operates on the sun. It provides everything that we see and get and eat and drink. Everything is from the sun. So you can't just come along and be like, it's apparent and everybody sees their own one. And no, it's the most important thing in the world. It's not some mystery magically showing up in the sky thing that we're like, oh, we only see the apparent one.
Just think of the word appear. The apparent sun just refers to where the sun appears to be. There's nothing magical about that.
Now, you just said we observe only the apparent sun. But yet this is getting heat, I was getting heat. That's two suns. Two. Do you understand what two means? Two separate. You're saying we only see one sun. Okay. But I see this one and these people see this one. They both bring heat. So there is an invisible magic sun for some people. There's two suns. How could that be one sun unless the Earth is a sphere? You got me confused now.
There's one sun that we see. And that one sun can appear to be in a different place than it actually is. That's what Neil Tyson is talking about. That's what we're talking about. And just because that light gets bent, that doesn't mean it's incapable of burning things. Also keep in mind that reflected light can also transmit heat. That's how solar ovens work. When we look at a fish in the water, we see an apparent fish. We see where the fish appears to be, rather than where it actually is. And when that fish looks up at the sun, that fish sees where the sun appears to be, rather than where the sun actually is. Do you think that fish is gonna freeze to death because it's seeing an apparent sun? No! Get real, come on! It's not that complicated. Just because we see an apparent fish doesn't mean the actual fish doesn't exist. And how many apparent fish are there? Well, it depends on how many people are on the beach, because every person on the beach is going to see that fish in a slightly different location. The same thing works with the sun. That light gets refracted as it bends through our atmosphere, and every person looking at the sun in a different location is going to see that sun in a slightly different location. Okay? So there are as many apparent suns in the sky as there are people. At one time you appeared to know this, so allow me to jog your memory.
All right, let's look at this observer here and realize that the air in front of us can be a lot like a pane of glass. Then if you added a second pane of glass or a third pane, a fourth pane, eventually it would become harder to see because you have more of this glass. It's just going to add up, just like our atmosphere adds up in front of our eyes. So one could say that seeing further through the air might be more difficult. If we add panes of glass, things get progressively more difficult to see. Notice the red dot here on the back of the 15 panes of glass is more difficult to see than the same red dot at the front. If our observer stands and takes a look at his surroundings, we know we can see in a 360-degree circle around us, and our view is the radius of that circle. Now, where would the most atmosphere or panes of glass be to our observer? Well, it's at the ground level, the thickest portion of our atmosphere. As we go up, our atmosphere thins out. So here we have the most atmosphere at the Earth level. So knowing where the most is and where the least is, we can come to the conclusion or the realization that we see in a dome-like viewpoint. Since the second most heavy portion of the atmosphere is when we start to look up just a little bit, well, progressively from there we see less and less atmosphere and distortion. This is a dome shape. No, I'm not saying there's a glass dome of any kind. We see through the atmosphere in a dome-like shape from the observer's point of view.
Kind of, but we don't see an equal amount of distance in all directions over our head. I don't like calling it an atmospheric dome of vision because it's not describing the shape of the atmosphere within our view. I prefer to call it a personal dome of vision because the sun appears to travel in an arched trajectory over our heads due to the sunset illusion.
And every single person on Earth each has their own dome view of the sky above.
Yes, thank you. You got it.
But everything we see happens in our personal little dome. Now we can see the sun. As the sun goes away from us, now we understand why the sun sets on a flat Earth. And also, as the sun's away from the other observer, why it rises on a flat Earth. It is simply the sun eclipsing the atmospheric layer or the cloud layer at the horizon off in the distance.
And so long as the sun is in the firmament of heaven, not below it, the firmament of heaven is going to also refract the light that passes through it. It's not just the atmosphere here.
And it, much like the cloud, never changed their height in the sky in comparison to you. It's just the way we observe it. So everything that happens above us displays for us in our own personal atmospheric dome. The sun, the moon, and that's why we don't have the exact positions for either one, because they're rendered to each of us separately.
Rendered to each of us separately. That means we see them all in a different apparent location. Now, in your model, you just had the atmosphere. But how many apparent suns were in your model?
So everything that happens above us displays for us in our own personal atmospheric dome. The sun, the moon, and that's why we don't have the exact positions for either one, because they're rendered to each of us separately.
There are as many apparent suns as there are people. Even on a globe model. Look at that. Thank you, Neil.
Oh, so there's 8 billion apparent suns. There's 8 billion guys.
No good!
I mean, you gotta be kidding me. Kyle, there's 8 billion suns now. There's 8 billion sunspots on them, and there's 8 billion things bringing heat and light.
Rejected!
That's dumb. That is dumb.
That was embarrassing.
The only embarrassing thing here is how hard you appear to have been hit with the forget-me stick.
Right. Ah! Oops. All out. Well, use the forget-me stick. Oh, right.
That certainly explains something. Although, something else rather interesting has kind of caught my eye. If you go over and visit the Flat Earth Society on Facebook, you can check who the members are. It says here, not only are you a current member of the Flat Earth Society, but you've been a member of the Flat Earth Society since June of 2015. This message has been brought to you by the Flat Earth Institute of Science, with a shout out to our Flat Earth friends at jdecals.com and Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay.
And here we see a sun setting, and believe me, you will never again look at a sunset the same way, or you shouldn't, because you now should realize that there is no sun setting as you're falling backwards faster than the speed of sound. That's not what sunsets are. Sunsets are the sun going away from you, and we'll see that clearly here in a moment, as the sun does not set because we're spinning out of away from it and that it's going away at 93 million miles distant from us. No, the sun is just going away from us. There it goes, and you'll see that it's just basically setting on that cloud layer that we talked about earlier. And you can watch it well after the sunset, as we'll do here, and you'll see the sun take off into the distance. It's not setting behind any Earth. That's why we don't see the temperature difference or drop in 10 degrees. It's just off into the distance, going further and further away, and the throw of the light isn't as far as where we are standing, our observing position. So go watch all the sunsets you can. I'm certainly not somebody who tells you what not to watch or don't go watch this person. Watch all the channels. Go watch all the science shows you can. Go watch all the sunsets you can, and you're going to quickly see the truth of what's going on. And the truth of the matter is that we've been lied to on a big, big level, and it's going to continue until we stand up as a group and end the lies and the deception. So as the sun goes off into the distance, I just wanted to thank everyone for watching.